Most people read Proverbs 31 and walk away feeling either inspired or overwhelmed. Women feel the pressure to be everything. Men hold it up as the standard their wives should meet. But what if we've been reading this passage wrong the whole time? What if Proverbs 31 isn't a checklist, but a code? A set of hidden principles so deep, so intentional, that most believers have read right past them their entire lives? Today we're going to unlock 7 secrets buried inside Proverbs 31 that will completely change how you read this passage and how you live. Stay with me through all 7 because number 5 is the one nobody talks about, and it may be the most important secret of all. Welcome back to Morning Grace, where we build wealth, character, and legacy God's way. If this is your first time here, hit subscribe. We go deep into scripture and we don't water it down. Let's get into it. Before we unlock these secrets, we need to understand what Proverbs 31 actually is. This passage, specifically verses 10 through 31, is a poem. Not just any poem. It's an acrostic poem in the original Hebrew. Each verse begins with a consecutive letter of the Hebrew alphabet, all 22 letters. That structure is not accidental. In Hebrew literature, writing something as an acrostic meant it was complete, whole, from beginning to end. The writer was saying, this is the full picture. So before we even get to verse 10, we should already understand. God is saying something complete here. Something total. Now, who wrote it? Verse 1 tells us this is the wisdom of King Lemuel, specifically the words his mother taught him. A mother teaching her son what to look for in a wife, what to look for in a person of character. That context matters enormously. This is not a public performance standard. This is a mother's private wisdom to her child. Keep that in mind as we go through every secret. Secret number 1. Her value was never about her appearance. Verse 10 opens, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies." The word translated virtuous in Hebrew is chayil. And here's what most people don't know. Chayil is almost never used to describe women in the Old Testament. It's primarily a military word. It means strength, valor, capability, force. The same word used to describe Gideon's mighty warriors in Judges 6. The same word used for David's army. So when Proverbs 31 opens with Eshe Chayil, woman of valor, it is ascribing to this woman the same language used for soldiers, warriors, and men of great force. This is not a soft, passive, quietly domestic portrait. This is a portrait of strength. And her worth? Above rubies. In the ancient world, rubies were rarer than gold. Kings paid fortunes for them. The passage opens by telling you, before you even know anything else about her, that this woman's value is extraordinary. And it has nothing to do with how she looks. In fact, scroll all the way to verse 30. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. The passage begins and ends by deliberately removing physical appearance from the equation. That is secret number 1. Her value is rooted in character and the fear of God, not aesthetics. Secret number 2. She was an entrepreneur, not just a homemaker. This is where many traditional readings fall short. Look at verses 13 through 18. She selects wool and flax. She works with her hands. She brings food from afar. She gets up while it is still dark. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. Let's slow down. She considers a field and buys it. With her own earnings, she then plants and manages a vineyard. This is not a woman who is simply maintaining a household. This is a woman running multiple income streams. Verse 24 goes further. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies the merchants with sashes. She is manufacturing goods and supplying them to the commercial market. She has a business. She has buyers. She has a supply chain. Verse 18 says she sees that her trading is profitable. That word, profitable, is a business word. She is monitoring her margins. The Proverbs 31 woman is not just a good wife. She is a kingdom entrepreneur. And this is in Scripture, long before modern conversations about women in business ever began. For Morning Grace viewers, this is one of the strongest biblical foundations for faith-based wealth building you will find in the entire Bible. Secret number 3. She leads with generosity before she leads with profit. You might think that because she's focused on business and profit, generosity would come later. But look at verse 20. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. This verse sits right in the middle of all her business activity. Not at the end, not as an afterthought. It's embedded in her daily rhythm. This is the biblical sequence that many prosperity teachings get backwards. They say, build wealth first, give later. The Proverbs 31 woman gives while she builds. Generosity is not a destination for her. It's a discipline. And notice the physical language. She opens her arms. She extends her hands. This is active, intentional, embodied giving. Not passive, not digital. She gets close to the need. This is secret number 3. Her financial activity is inseparable from her compassion. Wealth and generosity are not two separate seasons in her life. They run simultaneously. Secret number 4. She prepared for the future while fully present in the moment. Verse 21. When it snows, she has no fear for her household, for all of them are clothed in scarlet. Verse 25. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. 2 things happening here. 1, practical. She has prepared materially. Her household is ready for winter. She didn't wait for the cold to plan for the cold. But verse 25 goes deeper. She laughs at the future. In Hebrew, this word for laugh, sachak, means to be at ease, to be unafraid, even to rejoice. She is not anxious about what's coming, not because she is naive, but because she has been diligent. This is the biblical picture of financial and spiritual preparedness working together. She has done her part, and she trusts God with the rest. The result is not worry. It is laughter. This is a woman who has built emergency funds, planned ahead, and still sleeps at peace. Because her security is not in her savings alone, it is in her God. Secret number 5. Her mouth was her most powerful weapon, and most believers skip this verse. Verse 26. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. In the original Hebrew, the word for faithful instruction is torat chesed, Torah of kindness, the law of loving kindness. This is extraordinary. The word Torah, which means law, teaching, instruction, is attached to chesed, which is one of the most theologically rich words in all of Scripture. Chesed means covenant love, loyal, steadfast, unbreakable love. She doesn't just speak wisdom. She speaks covenant kindness. Her words are governed by loyalty and love. In a world where influence is built on platforms, algorithms, and volume, this woman's power comes from the quality of what she says, not the quantity. Her tongue is disciplined. Her words build. Her instruction carries spiritual weight. This is the secret most people skip because it's sandwiched between the business verses and the final praise. But it may be the most important one, because everything she has built, the business, the household, the reputation, is protected or destroyed by how she speaks. Proverbs 18 verse 21 confirms it. The tongue has the power of life and death. Secret number 6. Her husband's success was connected to her, and he knew it. Verse 23. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. The city gate in ancient Israel was the place of civic authority, where judges sat, where legal matters were decided, where reputation was established. Her husband sits there with honor. And this verse appears deliberately in the middle of her description, not at the beginning or end. The writer is making a connection. His public standing is inseparable from who she is privately. This is not about a woman propping up a man. This is about covenant partnership, where what one person builds in private elevates what the other carries in public. Verse 11 says, "Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value." Full confidence. He is not anxious about what she's doing with resources, with decisions, with the household. He trusts her completely. That trust was earned through consistency, character, and competence over time. Secret number 6 is this. The Proverbs 31 woman did not build alone, and her building made the people around her greater. Secret number 7. Her reward was public, but her foundation was private. Verse 30. A woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Verse 31. Give her the reward she has earned, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. Everything in this passage, the business, the generosity, the wisdom, the prepared household, flows from one source. The fear of the Lord. Not hustle, not talent, not strategy. The fear of God is the root system underground that nobody sees, and everything visible is just the fruit. And notice what verse 31 says. Let her works bring her praise. Not her words, not her title, not her platform. Her works, the accumulated evidence of a life lived with integrity. And where does that praise come? At the city gate, the most public place in the community. God takes what was built in private and honors it publicly. This is the kingdom principle that runs through the entire Bible. What you do in secret, God rewards openly. Matthew 6 verse 6. This woman is the living embodiment of that principle. Secret number 7 is the one that ties everything together. Fear God. Work faithfully. Be generous. Speak with wisdom. Prepare for the future. Trust your people. Your reward will come, not because you chased it, but because you deserved. So let's bring it together. The 7 secrets behind the Proverbs 31 woman. Her value was never about appearance. It was chayil, strength. She was an entrepreneur with multiple income streams. She led with generosity, not after profit, but during it. She prepared for the future and laughed at what was coming. Her tongue carried torat chesed, the law of covenant kindness. Her faithfulness elevated the people around her. Her fear of God was the root, and God honored her works publicly. This is not a checklist. This is a blueprint for men and women alike, because every one of these principles applies to anyone who wants to build something that lasts. If this video taught you something, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop in the comments. Which of these 7 secrets hit you the hardest? I'll see you in the next one.